7. Barrett outside the switch. Doncic goes over. And then he hammers it home. Broke his ankles.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And the New York Knicks have just come out victorious with their 8th win in a row, destroying the Golden State Warriors, the final score being 132-94. We are now 18-13 on the season, and I know what everyone's going to say. No Stephen Curry, no Andrew Wiggins in this game, no Dante DiVincenzo coming off the bench. The Golden State Warriors are one of the worst teams on the road, as they were 4-13 on the road entering this game. This is a game you have to win, but I love the fashion of the way the Knicks won. Moving the basketball, staying disciplined defensively, not taking our foot off the gas. I love the way the Knicks played. I really did. And it was just in a commanding blowout fashion. And you could say it was a competitive game when it came to the first quarter, but we were still up 8 points after that first quarter. The second quarter, we just absolutely took care of business. This was a well-balanced attack. We shot the three ball pretty well. We got contribution from the bench, quickly bounced back. Quickly, who was struggling with the three-point ball. We know his improvement defensively this season, but it's like, is there going to be that consistency offensively? I don't know if he's going to be consistent moving forward, but he was on fire from beyond the arc. Over 22 points coming off the bench. Got to the free throw line at late in that fourth quarter. He was just raining three-pointers. He had a difficult one at the top of the key. So I love the contribution from Emmanuel quickly. I love the way McBride came coming off the bench. He hit a couple three balls. I love the way he was hounding defensively. Jericho Sims, he didn't get a crazy amount of minutes. Obviously, you can count the garbage. You can count that the garbage time as well. But as soon as he checked in the game, like literally seconds or a minute, as soon as he checked in the game, and it was kind of deja vu because we saw this play before. Quickly's way outside on the perimeter, throws an alley-oop as high as possible because, Jericho Sims' catch radius is insane, throws down an alley-oop slam. And another play, RJ drove down the lane. He missed with his right hand, but Sims was there for the follow. He just played physical. He played strong. He did a good job on the boards. I just love Jericho Sims. I love the way this man plays the game of basketball. He just plays with so much force. And just with McBride and Sims, I don't care about the stats. As you know when they're out there on the floor, when it comes to their just overall impact of when it comes to their energy. But not having Stephen Curry, not having an Andrew Wiggins is obviously huge, but I thought it was big time the way Mitchell Robinson really handled that assignment of Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney, in my opinion, has been one of the most underrated players in basketball. He's been pretty underrated defensively. He's not some crazy athlete, but he's solid on the boards, and I love the way Mitchell Robinson battled on the boards. I thought he was disciplined throughout this basketball game. He did a good job staying in that dunker spot. He had good hands throughout this game as well. He was in the right spot at the right time. I've just been loving the way Mitchell Robinson's been playing this season. After maybe you could say like he was a little disappointing, maybe a week into the season or a few games in the season, but I've been loving the way Mitchell Robinson's definitely been playing. But the New York Knicks did an amazing job setting the tone when it came to ball movement. Quentin Grimes, I guess the only negative I could say in Achilles heel is the foul issue. Sometimes he commits some stupid fouls, especially the one that Tom Thibodeau was just pissed off about. It was to close out that third quarter. We're up a good amount of points, like a chunk of points, maybe 18. There's like 3 seconds winding down, or the Golden State Warriors have the ball for the last shot. They're holding for the last shot. Don't foul. Don't do anything stupid. You don't have a foul to give. And Grimes was just too aggressive, reached in. Jordan Poole ended up being fouled, or I believe it was Jordan Poole, or it might have been Jonathan Kuminga. Sometimes he's just a little too aggressive, but I love the way he was hounding defensively. Don't get me wrong, Jordan Poole was getting his buckets, but obviously, when it comes to switches and all that, that's why it's kind of misleading when you look at like a player's position and then the opposing player's position, like, oh, he got cooked, but no, it's a team game. There's going to be switches at times, and Jordan Poole had 27 points, I believe in this game, but it wasn't an efficient 27 points. Like, we made him work for those buckets, which I'm happy to see with this New York Knicks team during this winning streak, that we're making teams work for their buckets. But Quentin Grimes, I've just been loving his playmaking. Everyone's going to look at, oh, he's only averaging like 2 assists during this stretch. But if you truly watch the game, he gets these pass to assist. It's contagious of him making the extra pass. One play I absolutely loved is when Quentin Grimes dribble penetrated and then he dumped it dumped it off to a Julius Randle, I believe, and then he finished. It might have been Mitchell Robinson, but he had a nice read. He dumped it off. He just made that extra pass to Emmanuel quickly as well, and he had 19 points on 9 or 10 shots. Like, it was extremely efficient. He could have had more points, I believe, if we got him involved, like cutting more, in my opinion. But we know he's someone that likes to move without the basketball. But he was raining 3-pointers. There was a scare, though. I was like, oh my gosh, if I don't see him come back in the second half, it's going to be scary. In that second quarter, Quentin Grimes got fouled at the 3-point line I'm trying to think at the top of my head right now. He played for Virginia, Ty Jerome, who had a pretty solid game when it came to that first half. He was getting some difficult buckets when it came to the interior, driving down the lane. He plays at a good pace. He's not crazy athletic, but he plays at a good pace. He had a nice pull-up mid-range jumper as well, right in RJ's grill. I'm like, damn, that's a difficult shot. But Quentin Grimes, on this 3-point attempt, he was fouled in the corner, and I don't think his foot was landed on. Maybe it was. I think Ty Jerome's foot did land on his foot, or it just landed awkwardly in general, and Grimes was just screaming in pain, and I was like, oh no. Like, he's had these ankle issues since he's entered the NBA, and that's been a big part of, like, what's been holding him back, injuries, and then obviously, like, opportunities and that type of thing. But you got to stay healthy if you want to have a role, and he was just like, he was just grimacing. It looked like he was in pain, but then he was able to get up, which was definitely a good sign. He ended up coming back in that second half, but they actually ended up calling that a flagrant foul, but he didn't finish off the quarter. I guess they just wanted to give him some rest, but then they taped up that ankle, and then the third quarter, he was able to knock down a 3. I'm like, all right, that's definitely a good sign. But I love that when the New York Knicks were pouring it on in the second quarter, Jalen Brunson got off to the slow start offensively, and it looked like he was pressing a little. It really did. I was like, maybe this is just not a good matchup for Jalen Brunson. He struggles with the length. He struggles with the athleticism. Obviously, it could have been a different story with Wiggins out there as well. But it seemed like Jalen Brunson kind of stopped pressing when it came to that second quarter, because he started off this game like 0 for 4, 0 for 5. But then he was just on fire in that second quarter. The turnaround fadeaway jumpers he was hitting, he's knocking down his shots from the outside, which makes him dangerous as a player, because we know he's someone that can work down the lane, make difficult shots, like draw fouls, use pump fakes, maneuver himself with that fadeaway. He could pull up from mid-range territory, but now that his 3-point shot is falling, it's just unbelievable. And he's reading these passing lanes well as well, so he's contributing defensively. And I've loved that he's been like this floor general. Like, there's moments that he is ball dominant, and I'm like, all right, maybe I don't like that shot, but I can live with it when it goes in. But he did a good job at times, like knowing, like, he does a good job pushing the pace. He does a good job slowing it down, making the right read. Had a very nice read when he found Randle cutting to the basket. He's just making everyone's job easier, which I really do like. And I didn't see Randle really press throughout this game. Maybe Randle didn't put up some crazy points, but I thought he did a solid job distributing the basketball. And Draymond's a physical guy. He tries to get up in your head, which he does a good job with. But I got to give credit to our guys for being mentally tough throughout this game. And this team's gritty, and this team's fighting hard when it speaks volume when the Warriors could have easily had an easy bucket in transition. Kuminga's a big guy. Kuminga definitely is a big guy, but Jalen Brunson is only 6'1". Kuminga, what is he, 6'8", 6'9", lengthy guy. I've been watching him since he went to St. Patrick's School, which is actually in New Jersey. And obviously G League Ignite, athletic dude. In transition, Brunson didn't let him get an easy bucket. Like, he fouled him hard. He's like, no, you're going to earn your buckets, young buck. You're still a young player in this league, and I'm a veteran in this league. So this overall team was just mentally tough throughout this game. We didn't let Klay Thompson get into any type of rhythm. He hasn't really been playing back-to-backs this season, so he's probably not going to play next game for the Golden State Warriors. Understand he came off of this huge injury, but we're contesting most of his shots. He had some air balls throughout this game. We forced him into some difficult jumpers. I love the way we're playing defensively on a Klay Thompson. Like, you got to give the New York Knicks credit, but I also give credit to Ty Jerome, like I mentioned. He was getting some nice buckets, playing at a solid pace. Anthony Lamb had some nice buckets as well. He hit a couple threes like in a row. I'm like, damn, okay, Anthony Lamb's cooking up some things. But James Wiseman, he eventually got it going, like with a couple block shots like later in the game and some nice rebounds. But he still looks raw in this league, and he hasn't played a ton of minutes due to the G League, injury. And when you're taking with the second overall pick to a win-now mode team, you're kind of in a weird situation. But he looked raw. He looked kind of lost out there on the floor. But I love that we didn't really let anyone get into a consistent rhythm. Like Kevin Looney, I didn't hear his name a lot. I know he's not a crazy offensive player, but he's still a gritty player. And that's a good thing. You're doing something well defensively when you don't hear Clay's name a lot. Like, he still probably got in double digits, maybe had 13 points, but we didn't let him, be fuego from beyond the arc or anything like that. And so you have Randall playing a solid brand of basketball. He's playing tough defensively as well. This overall team is. But what really turned it around or just put the switch on even more, like I mentioned, Grimes knocking down threes. He drew a nice foul, driving to the basket as well in that first quarter. He's just extremely consistent. And he's consistent and he's efficient. I'm talking about the shot attempts he takes. He makes the most of his shot attempts. He's ready for each rep out there on the basketball floor. So he's competing defensively. Jordan Poole was getting his on some possessions, but in the third quarter, RJ Barrett just absolutely turned up. RJ Barrett was able to drive down the lane. He did a good job finishing at the basket, which you love, even with the right hand as well. He had a nice pull-up mid-range jumper. I love to see that. I want to see those screens set for RJ when he's able to work down the lane and, catch a guy on his hip and pull up for mid-range. I want to see that from RJ. I want to see him consistently add that to his game. I know he's not the main ball handler on this team, and when he did get a bucket, it wasn't in that way. It was him moving, cutting over to that mid-range spot, and they're able to find him. But it looked smooth. It looked fluid. That's what you love to see from RJ Barrett. I thought he was solid defensively, but he has to knock down the three-point shot. The three-point shot just needs to go down, and these are open looks. He just has to knock them down. I'm not going to bash him or anything like that. He needs to make them at the end of the day. But RJ Barrett was one of the main reasons we won as well. So you have Brunson, who has a 20-point game. You have RJ Barrett, who had a near 20-point game as well. If I'm looking at the box score here, my real live box score reaction, and I love the way we moved the ball. We played as a team, well-balanced attack. We had 27 assists in this basketball game. So you look at Quentin Grimes. He had 19 points on 9 shot attempts, made 5 shots from the field. He was 4 of 8 from 3, continues to be on fire from beyond the arc. 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 4 assists, made some nice reads. RJ even made some nice reads out there on the floor as well. So RJ was 8 for 19, but he was 1 of 6 from 3. So he had 18 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. You have Jalen Brunson had 21 points, 7 of 16 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. Plus minus plus 22. You just look at the overall starting lineup, just all plus minus, and I love seeing Mitchell Robinson 11 rebounds. That's what you love to see. And he had 5 offensive rebounds, but he had 6 defensive rebounds. That shows that he's scrappy, fighting for the boards out there on the floor. So he had 9 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals, had 0 blocks. Him having more steals than blocks is pretty funny. There was one play that was crazy that Randall was hustling for the ball, and he kind of snapped the ball. Reggie Miller made a good point that it looked like when Randall was able to find the ball or he was able to give the ball to Mitchell Robinson, it was like a center snapping the ball and throwing it between his legs to the quarterback, and then Mitchell Robinson was able to throw it down. So we were scrappy and still fighting throughout this game, which I love. Julius Randle, 15 points, 5 of 12 from the field, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, 1 of 6 from 3, but 12 shots. He didn't force the issue. And it started to become a fun game at the end because this game was just an absolute blowout, and it was just a murder, which I love. We took care of business. We play the Raptors tomorrow, and the Raptors, they're looking to win a game because they've been really struggling, and they have length, they have athleticism. That's a team I'm interested to see how we match up against, even though they are struggling. But it got fun at the end. Hartenstein was throwing these freaking bombs down the court. He had one nice pass to McBride that threw it down. He had another beautiful pass that he found McBride cutting back towards. And he had a no-look pass, I believe, to Jericho Sims for the dunk. Jericho Sims is so much fun to watch. And I just love that this team looks like they're having fun out there on the floor. Even you had Svi Mikhailuk checking the game. He knocked down a 3 as well. But you look at quickly, he was just unbelievable from beyond the arc. And I hope he consistently just keeps it up offensively. I know he's a streaky player. He's going to have games that he's on and then games that he's off. But 22 points for quickly, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 turnovers, though. He was 6 of 10 from the field, 5 of 6 from 3. You just absolutely love to see that. But there's really not much to complain about. Maybe you want RJ to knock down his threes, Grimes to clean up the fouls. But I was very pleased with the effort. I was very pleased with the ball. We played, we stepped up when it mattered most. Just like putting it away, because like we literally took care of business 132-94. We put up 132 points, and the Warriors just were outmatched when it came to production, like guys that can consistently create their own shot. They didn't really have that. I felt like when it came to this game, like when you look at the Warriors box score, Klay Thompson had 11 points, 5 of 12 shooting, 1 of 5 from 3, never got into a rhythm. Kevon Looney out there, 21 minutes, 6 rebounds, 2 points. Good job by Mitchell Robinson. Draymond Green, 26 minutes. We know he's not a huge points guy. He had a nice hustle play, like a nice tip, and he knocked down a 3, but he had his 6 assists, 5 rebounds. He's going to get those numbers. He's an underrated passer. Maybe Moses Moody knocked down some nice shots, 11 points. Yeah, Poole had 26 points on 8 of 18 shooting. He was pretty much their only kind of consistent offense because he was pretty inefficient out there on the floor, but I was happy with the overall production of this entire team. I was really pleased with the effort. The New York Knicks are playing some good-ass basketball right now. Let me know down below your thoughts on this game. Peace out, y'all.